I have graduated both from Helsinki University of Technology and University of Art and Design, where I'm also a docent at the Department of Design. I have had a teaching career of 14 years in Otaniemi at the Department of Architecture. And I'm simultaneously a partner in an architect's office where we have offices in Helsinki and Switzerland and have mostly designed urban centers in many countries. And I've been a visiting professor in Copenhagen, Aarhus and Vienna, and a visiting fellow at Harvard Graduate School of Design. This image, which you will see here, is from my design for housing villas in Doha, in Qatar. It won third prize in an international architectural competition recently. It's under construction, and it would have been impossible to make the project without the recognition of the differences in design methods in different cultures. Emergent design methodologies is a teaching and research field that concentrates on two things. First of all, intentional processes of creation when designing or planning new architecture. And secondly, it combines theory to practice. Which visionary direction should this field have? What is my own experience in this subject? Answering these two questions will be the structure of my presentation. First of all, making provocations is necessary in order to experiment in our very often conservative culture. Here, for example, at our department, we invented a new kind of architectural medium, which was a construction site billboard for imaginary construction projects. And we situated these in different locations at the city center of Helsinki and then followed the reactions of the public. And I was also in morning television discussing this. Combining research to teaching is crucial. We can test hypotheses in study courses and establish new research questions also from the design courses. Theory should be present in studio courses and vice versa, alternating doing and reflecting in every study course. Research-based design and design-based research can support each other. We also need different design methods for different types of students and their career paths, supported by tailored study plans. In an optimal situation, students can define their own aims and methods in collaboration with teachers. This means also that the design process selected by a student should be assessed and not only the result of the design process. It is practical that architectural studies start with emphasis on manual skills, space and body, and move from small scale to bigger scale when studies continue. Lower level courses use more subjective and narrative methods. Later, more concept-based and collaborative methods can be preferred, including also experimental methods related to atmospheres and mental images. Critical thinking will increase along studies. Which are my own contributions in this field? First of all, my doctoral thesis implemented sociological knowledge taken from the culture industry of moving images to architecture. It included a scrutiny on the methodologies of contemporary architecture, development based on the sociology of needs towards critical practices, the culture of well-being against consumerism and new design attitudes. The result of the thesis was two new design methods. I called these machinal snobism and cool panic. And I have studied contemporary design methodologies in building and city scale. First of all, My doctoral thesis analyzed the design methods of such contemporary well-known architects as Jean Nouvel, Rem Koolhaas, and Peter Eisenman. And after this, I have worked on the design methodologies of the topological genre in architecture, landscape urbanism, as well as social sustainability. My second contribution has been to collaborative practices, and I have been developing some of the key methodologies in this field. I made groundwork, for example, for urban design management and have utilized that in practice. My latest research and publications concentrate on new methods in collaborative urban regeneration. And I have participated in the developing of a branch of architecture called service architecture with NGOs and companies, as well as well-being architecture within our department. And we were lucky to get funding also for establishing these new professorships for these fields at our department. These are the different directions for evolving design methodologies. Okay, thirdly, I have combined research and teaching in projects funded by the Finnish technology agency Tekes, and these represent project-based collaborative methods in urban design and urban regeneration. My practical career in architecture has utilized interdisciplinary collaborative methods based on parallel university research. And this is actually quite common in Central Europe and respected, for example, in Switzerland, that practitioners utilize the research from universities. But I don't think that this has been that a fact in Finland very much, at least not in architecture. And so I have utilized the research done at our university in building design, urban regeneration, developments of urban centers, interior design, as well as landscape architecture. And in the end of this lecture, I have selected a few different methods used in my own architectural projects. First of all, there are the digital methods. This is a design for a school competition in Saunalahti in Espoo, where I utilized digital design from digital modeling and the actual digital design method to also digital manufacturing. I have been the urban designer of Aviapolis Center, which is the center for the workplace area at Helsinki Airport, and there we utilized urban design management in very big scale, where we had workshops with over 100 participants. This is an example of the utilization of urban design management in really small scale, Helsinki Art Museum, that I was the designer for the renovation of the museum. This is Espoo Center, where I was commissioned by the city of Espoo to design new guidelines for the next 20 years of the regeneration of this area. And the work was based on so-called active design guidelines, which support people's active movement in their environment in order to lower the social healthcare costs, and also so-called the lifestyle of health and sustainability, which comes from Germany, and also creative culture. And all these three methods and aims turned into physical design. I was the urban designer for Helsinki City Hall quarter, Storikorttelit, and this design was based on quite close co-creation and collaboration, not only with the project participants, but also a quite large group of cultural agents and possible future users in these blocks. And the realization of this area is well underway. This Espoo Hospital project was based on so-called trans-programming. This hospital was designed based on the model of a hotel, even if it's a public facility. And our entry won first prize in open international competition with K2S architects. But unfortunately, even if we made all realization documents, this was never built. And the program was combined with this Jorvi Hospital project. This work represents the method of extreme contextuality. And this is our entry from Helsinki City Central Library competition. And here, cultural motives are taken sort of to extremes. The use of wood, sculpturality, minimalism, openness, communal spaces, all the cliches of Finnish architecture. And this Tianjin airport entry, which won a prize in an international competition, was based on cultural encoding. The symbols of earth and sky in Chinese, a circle and a square, are a starting point for different parts of the airport. This won a honorary mention in the competition. This is an example of an ongoing project at the Department of Architecture, a collaboration with Quileute Nation at the state of Washington in the United States. So this is a native Indian tribe, and they have a specific ability to communicate with whales. At least they claim that they can do this by drumming. And the whales have told them that they will have to move because the water level is rising. They contacted the government because they are living in a reservate area, but they were not satisfied with these official plans for a new town. And there was one Finnish guy working for Microsoft in Seattle who became friends with the chief and told them that he knows exactly who can help you, Aalto University. You must contact them. And now we have started designing a new small town for these people, and one peculiar aspect which makes the project even stranger is the Twilight Saga, because I guess many of you know this series of books and films, but it's based on two tribes, and one of those tribes, which is the werewolf tribe, is this Quileute Indian tribe. So they receive all the time a huge amount of tourists which are interested in their place and culture because of this popular culture phenomenon. So we will have to combine together the new requirements for their spaces, what the whales think of that, and this Twilight Saga tourists, everything together. It's a bit complex methodology from the methodology point of view. Okay, this is my last slide, and my vision on learning design methods is that a teacher can help students to advance architectural thinking and development to new directions. A good teacher can support students' open, questioning, radical, and brave approach. The aim of learning is not only to obtain the skills and knowledge of the field, but also to search new dimensions and limits for architecture and then go beyond them. Thank you.